It's a terrific Tuesday morning, and boy, are we glad to have you on the AM show. It's always a pleasure and a privilege. And from us to you, we say, welcome aboard. This is the Bernice and Benjamin show, if you like, the AM show as we call it. It's all about you, so stick and stay with us as we give you what we're going to serve this morning. But coming up, I'll be serving you the news shortly. After the news, we'll get into the news review, and then we have sports. But what can you expect in the big stories this morning? And talking of sports, yesterday there was the unveiling of Chris Hughton as our new coach, and he enumerated a number of things he was going to do, the likes of what he would do with Mohamed Kudus, who is a very versatile player. I expect more of that when we bring you sports. But for the big stories, we're heading to the Labadi Beach Hotel, and it's all about the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting. They are back, and this time they're talking about the domestic debt exchange program. The theme, domestic debt exchange, lessons and implications for how you invest. Lessons and implications for how you invest. Well, I guess many have learned lessons, but moving forward as a country, as a financial system, and as individuals and companies, what are the lessons we've learned that we can carry into the future? Stay tuned for that one. It will be coming your way this morning, and you can see some of the major speakers there. Abana Amwa, we have panelists, Reverend, so we have Reverend Daniel, that's the, I believe, our stock exchange boss. His other name just escapes me. There's also Dr. Dan Sedo and Professor Ebo Turkson. All of them joining that all-important conversation at the Labadi Beach Hotel this morning. I will be bringing you live coverage of that, so you don't want to miss a beat. Also stay for the news review because a number of things happened yesterday. We'll be getting into all of them with energy analyst Kojo Poku this morning. Stick and stay. The news up next. Thank you for staying for the news. We start with politics, and in our first story, former flag bearer, actually hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, Alan Tremanting, is worried about the over-politicization of issues in the country. He says this is an affront to development. The former trades minister believes Ghana needs a new leader who will work to reconcile and bring all sides together, irrespective of one's religious, political, or ethnic alignment, which he thinks he is better placed to do. Upper West Regional correspondent Rafiq Salam now reports.
The former Trades and Industry Minister, Alan Kujo-Chiramanten, arrived at the Warner's Palace in the company of some former government functionaries, national and regional executives of the New Patriotic Party, NPP. The overlord of the Wara traditional area, now Hussein Sidi Pilepo IV, was not present during the meeting, and the paramount chief of the Peri traditional area, Na Abdullahi Abubakar Kunjokun, stood in for him.
Send a message that will give to the people, which they will understand. And trust that when you come to power, you can execute it. Then they will vote for you.
Alan Kojo-Chiramanten told the Wala chiefs of his mission of wanting to become the flag bearer of the NPP, based on his track record of providing jobs for the people, especially among the youth.
As citizens of this country, we should go beyond politics and look for a new leader who can provide the leadership to move Ghana from growth and stability to economic transformation. As a politician, over the last 30 years, I've been talking about three things: jobs, jobs, jobs. So the time has come, my very revered chiefs, for you to have a new leader who would focus on jobs and job creation.
He noted that Ghana for now needs a new leader who can bring the people together, irrespective of one's political, religious, or ethnic background.
The politics in our country is too divisive. You cannot have development when people are divided on almost every issue in this country. So you need a new leader who will reconcile the country, heal the people, somebody who all people in this country, irrespective of their political affiliation or ethnic affiliation, would respect and have confidence in. My very respected chiefs, Tinanas, and then Imams, Queen Mothers, I think I represent the person who combine all these things that I've been talking about.
Alan Kojo Chiramanten appealed to the chiefs and opinion leaders of war to do a silent campaign for him to enable him win the MPP presidential primaries.
This is my humble appeal to you, that first you whisper and talk to the delegates in our party to elect me to lead our party, and at the appropriate time also to talk to them to select and elect me to lead our country.
He assured the people that he will not turn his back on them should he ever become president of the country.
I want to assure you, I want to use this platform to assure you that if it is Allah's will that I become the president of this country, I will not forget the Wala tradition and the people of this country.
However, there is a growing perception here that the former Trade and Industry Minister has never been to the Upper West region, if not for a campaign for a flag bearership race. An assertion that spokesperson Yo Bobana Samoa parried away.
I don't believe that is absolutely accurate because his ministry has several projects in the region. No, he couldn't have not been here if those projects are here because he's a very hands-on minister. Wherever there are projects, he makes sure, even if it's one factory, he makes sure that he steps foot there at least once. So once there are ministry projects in the region, I am certain that he has been here several times before.
The Alan campaign team is on phase about the means of endorsements that Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia seems to be getting. For them, they don't see him as a stumbling block to their victory.
How do you determine that the main opponent is the vice president? We don't consider the main opponent to be the vice president. We consider Alan in a competitive field where he's ahead and he will win. Yeah. Oh, no. Listen, Alan has done this severally. He has competed against who we call the tiger in the house, the man-eating tiger in the house, 3 times. You are aware of that? Sure. And today, the man-eating tiger is no more. So who is the one who is going to step into the tiger's shoes? It is Alan Chiramatin.
Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Well, staying in the realm of politics, former General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, Dr. Titus Baio, says his decision to leave the medical profession to become a parliamentarian is for a good cause. Now, speaking to the media after filing his nomination to contest the Lambusi seat, he noted that given the opportunity, he would retool and rebrand the National Democratic Congress for it to be the only party of choice in his constituency. We go once more to Rafik Salam, who reports.
The 41-year-old clinical epidemiologist Titus Baio interacted with the media after filing his nomination test to contest the orphan Lambusi constituency seat. First spoke about why he wants to leave the medical profession for politics.
It is for a good cause, and we will not let you down. Look at Lambusi. We remain the only district without an inch of tarred roads. Look at our party office. It is nothing to write home about. We have to do this address outside because of the sheer heat, lack of a light, and anything in the party office. Dr. Baio is coming on some basic principles. First, to revive, retool, and revamp our party. In the coming days, we are going to resource the party from all the branches through to the constituency level and get our party to work.
He talked about rebranding the NDC to be the only choice for the people of the constituency.
We are going to rebrand the NDC in Lambusi to become a party that will win elections in perpetuity. and it will be a strong and vibrant force to reckon with. The next thing we are going to be looking at is our health sector. I think my involvement in the health sector in Lambuse is known to all of you. I was part of the first team of doctors to perform any surgery in the district. For years, Lambuse district, of over 50,000 people, not a single surgery could be performed here. Our women had to travel to adjoining district to have simple surgery like cesarean section. We have changed that narrative, and we are continuing to change it. We have seen that from the ranking from one of the media portals, Lambuse district ranks last out of the 11 districts in the BEC performance. We need to improve the numeracy, the literacy, and the performance of our students. And I have made a pledge that by the time my first tenure will end, Lambuse will have a functional community library where our children can sit and read.
Dr. Baio is expected to slug it out with former MP of the area, Edward Kala Iwaladere, and Dr. Emmanuel Kambampanyang on May 13. At Pahalari in the West constituency, incumbent member of parliament, Dr. Godfrey Seru also filed for a second time in parliament and hope to be second time lucky.
You would realize that as a lawmaker, I have tried my possible best to make sure that I qualitatively represent the people of Wa East in the House of Parliament. I have played various roles, pronounced and a lot of issues of national interest. I have represented and articulated the needs and challenges of the people of Wa East in the area of roads, in the area of agriculture and its support, in the area of education, in the area of health, in the area of poverty alleviation. I have said a lot of things to draw government attention and decision holders and policymakers on these issues.
Given another time, will you do things differently?
A lot of new things are still required. We still have gaps in performance of our people. Development, if you check the last leak assessment by local government services, you will see that the Wa East district actually was flagged red.
Let's talk male-female equity now, and the Ghana Armed Forces is seeking to address challenges that impede the deployment of women for United Nations peacekeeping operations. Project Coordinator Colonel William Abochi reveals that the majority of women in the force are in the Service Support Unit, which is a major challenge. There is more in this report by Jacqueline and Soma Yabua.
According to the UN, women play a key role in peacekeeping, but the number of women in peacekeeping operations in Ghana is low. The Ghana Armed Forces Project Coordinator, Colonel William Abochi, stated that it is very essential to encourage more women to join the armed forces without limiting them based on gender roles.
The high numbers want to apply already, but we want them to apply to go to the combat and the combat support units. Now, the research found out that majority of our women are in the service support units, nurses, clerks, signal women, and all that. So you hardly see women in infantry, in armor units, and in airborne. So we have to tell them that the opportunities are there. If you want to be whatever you want to be, apply. You can be taken and you achieve your dream.
He also revealed that the project intends to institutionalize gender training in the Ghana Armed Forces, which will equip soldiers on gender issues before they graduate.
We first try to institutionalize gender training in Ghana Armed Forces. This wasn't there. Once in a while, there could be a course here or there. Now, we identified 4 levels which we can do this. The basic entry level for recruits and officers, young soldiers level and young officers level, senior NCOs course levels and junior staff course division, and then sergeant majors courses, and then senior staff course for officers. So by doing this, we expect that by the time any soldier comes into the system and operates for 4 or 5 years, you would have been gender aware, and your culture would have been influenced, and you will create a better or a gendered working conditions for everybody in the Ghana Armed Forces.
Program Officer for Women, Peace and Security Institute at the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Agnes Agbevadi, is optimistic that Ghana's armed forces would develop and implement a policy addressing the most pressing gender issues.
I mentioned that as part of the intervention to achieve that this project is to help Ghana Armed Forces to have a gender policy. Gender policy, a comprehensive one, of course, that will guide the process of mainstreaming gender in Ghana Armed Forces. We are looking at a number of things that has to do with the promotion, recruitment into Ghana Armed Forces, paternity leave, maternity leave. A lot of things will come on board, discussion within this framework of developing the policy for Ghana Armed Forces. And this, at the end of the day, we believe will be accepted by the top leadership and it will be adopted.
The team has visited about 10 garrisons so far, and about 14,000 military and civilian employees have been sensitized. Jacqueline and Suma Yeboah's report read to you.
On to dental health now, and the oral health department of the Techiman Holy Family Hospital is asking young men and women to do more to improve their oral health. Head of Department Dr. Clement Obeng-Eni says his outfit will help promote this cause among the youth. Anas Sabit has more as the hospital commemorated World Oral Health Day.
Every year on March 20, people all over the world observe the World Oral Health Day with the main goal of raising awareness of the importance of oral health. The main purpose of observing this day is to, amongst other things, urge people to practice good oral hygiene, care for their teeth, and to educate them on how to avoid dental issues. Here in the Techiman municipality, the Oral Health Department of the Holy Family Hospital is collaborating with the Techiman Senior High School to mark this day. Dr. Clement Obeng-Eni is a specialist oral surgeon and the head of the Oral Health Department of the Holy Family Hospital.
This morning we are here in the Techiman Senior High School to celebrate the World Oral Health Day, which falls on the March of every year. And we are here, first of all, to celebrate with all our colleagues all over the world to create oral health awareness to these young people and also the staff, just so they can pay more attention to their oral health and also for their general health eventually.
He highlighted that the team is engaging students at the senior high school level this year to help address the rising oral health conditions, particularly amongst the youth.
We've realized that adolescents, those of primary or basic school level, really do suffer a lot of these oral health conditions. And you realize when they are even in boarding houses and all that, they get all these oral health conditions, the pain, they come in and it's really a burden on them, disturbing the academic calendar and all that. And so that is what partly influenced our decision to come to Techiman Senior High School.
Dr. Clement Obeng-Eni was, however, quick to admonish these students to be ambassadors of the oral health campaign by educating their parents and peers at home.
The younger generation are more informed, they are very intelligent. Our mothers, not everybody is so enlightened about things like this. So we believe that these ones who are young, very energetic and enlightened, can also, with the educational section that was given to them, can go back home, educate their younger siblings and even their parents back home. When it comes to the dietary habits, brushing habits, they are better ambassadors of the information we are churning out, keeping their oral health for their general health. Yeah.
Madam Eunice Owusu-Ababio is the Assistant Headmistress Administration at the Techiman Senior High School. She was excited at the observance of the day in the school and asked that both the students and the staff present have been educated on the need to keep their teeth healthy.
Really, we are very excited because we've been educated enough. We've been introduced to the do's and don'ts when it comes to dental care. This time around, we've realized that it is good to visit the dentist at least twice in a year. And you realize that most of our students didn't know that they will have to go to the hospital and visit the dentist. And so from today, they will start visiting them.
Some of the students who spoke to JoyNews were full of praise to the Holy Family Hospital for the education session and asked that they will help educate others on the need to adhere to good oral hygiene.
What I learned today is how to take care of the teeth, and they said many things, but what I learned was we have to brush our teeth twice daily, and we shouldn't take gum which contains plenty sugar. We have to take sugar-free gum, and we have to use brush which is medium and is soft. We don't have to use hard brush to brush our teeth, and we have to take very good care of our teeth.
What I've learned, and from here, what I also find out from my colleagues, so when I go home, I will sit my family down and I educate them. When I came to school, this is what I've learned. So I also make them to be aware of some of these things so that their teeth can also be kept proper.
The theme for this year's World Oral Health Day is Be Proud of Your Mouth. Anna Sabit, Joy News, Tichiman.
Now, in our final story, a non-governmental organization in the Afajato South district of the Volta region, Amenuveve Incorporated, has launched a reusable sanitary towel product, Volta Pads. The initiative will end period poverty in the district, promote menstrual hygiene, curb teenage pregnancy, and protect the environment. The sanitary towel, which is produced with degradable materials by locally trained seamstresses, would also curb the high incidence of urinary tract infections in the district.
Period poverty is predominant in rural communities in Ghana, with female teenagers being the most affected. These females resort to unhygienic means by using clothes and other materials during menstruation, which results in infection among other health conditions. Some would have to trade themselves to get money to buy sanitary towels for use. This often leads to teenage pregnancy and school dropout. Noticing the ravaging effect of period poverty, Amenuveve Inc., a non-governmental organization, designed and produced reusable pads for young females in Woje, in the Afajato South district of the Volta region.
Volta Pad is a waterproof pad made purely of cloth and no chemicals. And this can last a girl up to a year and a half. We are gathered here today to launch this product, which is the first reusable sanitary pad to be certified by the Ghana Standard Authority. And it's being produced right here in this edifice. And we are also here to commission the Island Borak Memorial Office, which was built in memory of Professor Rachel Cow.
The product was developed with support of the Stern School of Business of the New York University. It was spearheaded by Professor Rahul Kowal and Professor Hans Taparia, who are both clinical professors in the Business and Society program at the New York University Stern School of Business.
The last 8 years, we've been working with our class and with the community to help set up businesses, that are owned and operated by the community. We have Volta Pads, we have Amenuveve, and these are businesses that are designed to solve very big problems in the world. They're also designed to create livelihood for the communities, and again, permit the community to control its own destiny. That's how they've been designed. So my request to all of you is to get involved.
The Afajato South District Director, Christopher Mbabil, who lamented the high incidence of urinary tract infection in females, lauded the initiative.
Urinary tract infection in Afajato South is part of the top 10 diseases that has occurred for the past 3 years. And so we are grateful that this path will help to reduce urinary tract infections.
Get us see this pad, Volta Pad. No girl will be exposed to teenage pregnancy. Get us see this pad. Our women will be having business and earning income. Get us see this pad. Our girls will be saving money because when you buy the pad once, you are using it for 1.5 years. Get us see this pad. Finally, we are sustaining our environment. We are protecting our environment. To this, I say Amenuveve INC. Thank you very much. To the initiators, thank you very much.
Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News, Waje.
And on that heartwarming note with dancing and all, we cap off the news, but stay with us. It's still Ghana month. We're serving you the news review up next with energy analyst Kojo. Time now for the news review. Thank you for staying, and we get into it with energy analyst Kojo Poku. But before we welcome him aboard, before he's ushered into the conversation, this news review is brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Now, if you're thinking of getting prostate screening or fertility screening for women, the best place to go is Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. And they're offering these to you for free, completely for free. Now, here's where you can locate them from Accra to other parts of the country. Accra, it's in Spintex opposite the Shell signboard. In Kumasi, Kronoma, we're here behind the Angel Educational Complex. Anaji Estate in Takrade in Tema, it is Community 22, Techiman Hansua, and Esiama in Zama. Just reach them on 0244 867 068, 0244 867 068, or 0274 234 321. 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. But the start of the news review. Let me say a very good morning to energy analyst Kojo Poku. Kojo, Memawache.
Good morning, Ben. How are you?
For some reason, I can't hear you so well, so I'm going to try this again. Very good morning to you, Kojo.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well. I'm still struggling to hear you.
Can you hear me? I think your system is having a bit of a challenge this morning.
Could be. Could be from our end. Could be from your end too. But I can see you now.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I think maybe I'll need to up the volume a bit from here so I can hear you better. But you're looking glossy, handsome as always. Thank you for staying with us. I'd like to start by finding out what you've been up to, especially as campaigning is hitting the ground running. We've seen Alan Tremating, we've seen Dr. Kotwe-Friye, we've seen a number of people actually getting into it. And we've also had the sad incident of Honorable Osei Akoto, former Member of Parliament for Pankrono, Tafo Pankrono, whom we hear has met his maker. So tell us what you've been up to by way of your campaign briefly, and any thoughts of the former Tafo Pankrono lawmaker before we get into the newspapers.
Yeah, I hope the sound is better.
It's much better now, much better. Let's go.
Okay, thank God. Yes, my condolences to the Akoto Osei family, his brother, Ambassador D.K. Osei, and the entire family. I think our heart goes out to them. It's a great loss to the nation and to the family. Not long ago, he was the Minister for Monitoring and Evaluation, and we all know the good work that he did during His Excellency John Agyekum Kufuor's time as a Minister of Finance. It's sad news, but look, that's the journey that we all have to take one day. So we pray that his soul is in perfect peace. With my campaign, it's been brilliant, it's been great. I'll take this opportunity to say good morning to all KMP family in all the regions. On Sunday, I was in the Volta region. I met the beautiful executives of the Volta region, and it was a very brilliant and magnificent meeting. And I'll take the opportunity to thank them on this your media and wish them well in all their endeavors. But look, other people, as we all said, has come into the fray, busy campaigning. But for me, like I always keep saying, I'm in a different lane. The lane I'm in, it's a lane of youthfulness, a lane of new ideas, a lane of something different. All the other candidates are preaching business as usual, continuity of the policies that has not led us to a lot of good results. So people that have heard me speak are all attesting to the fact that I have something. And they keep encouraging me to continue because they think that the message I have is the best message for the country and for the party.
All righty. Thank you for getting us up to speed with what you've been up to. So the latest region you've toured is the Volta region. Let's get into the Daily Graphic newspaper. President Akufo-Addo urges caution in amendment to Constitution. I've heard the likes of Professor Nana SKB Asante also echo same. He is saying that it will not necessarily change our constitutionalism, if you like, but we have to approach it with caution. Some have said it's not a wholesale change, but some things in the Constitution must change. And in recent times, if you listen to former President Mahama and his talk about ex gratia, we know from the Kufuor era, it became very prominent on the back of those committees and what they brought to bear. And now, at least he is proffering that, as far as the executive is concerned, it should go if he gets the nod, and then he would also approach the legislature and the judiciary. When I get to that story, I would like you to share your thoughts on all of those surrounding issues. Commemorative gold coin project. Otumfuo rolls out responsible gold mining in Ashanti region. President puts spin on Sona. That's according to the NDC. And they have a lot to say. In fact, yesterday they had a lot to say about the true state of the nation. Ghana will support ICC to investigate war crimes. That's according to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfred Yeboah-Dame. You know that in recent times there was that arrest warrant, if you like, put forward as far as Russian President Vladimir Putin is concerned. Domestic revenue to jump 3 bills to rake in 4 billion Ghana cedis yearly before Parliament. So let's get into those stories. I'll just take all of them together so I can take your reactions as a whole, en masse. So the government has laid before Parliament 3 amended bills as part of measures to revamp domestic revenue mobilization. When passed, the Income Tax Amendment Bill, the Excise Duty Amendment Bill, and the Growth and Sustainability Amendment Bill will together rake in about 4 billion Ghana cedis annually. A highly placed source at the Ministry of Finance told the Daily Graphic that the Income Tax Amendment Bill, which is expected to rake in 1.2 billion Ghana cedis, would still exempt those who earn the minimum wage from paying tax. However, the bill, when it becomes law, would alter the way foreign exchange losses are treated in financial statements, it said. The source added that the Excise Duty Amendment Bill would also rake in an additional 400 million Ghana cedis through the imposition of a 20% tax on e-smoking, as well as fruit juices. The Growth and Sustainability Amendment Bill, it added, would replace the National Fiscal Stabilization Levy, which is currently levied on companies operating in selected sectors, such as telecommunications, mines and extractives, breweries, and financial institutions. On second thought, Kojo, I'll address this one, and then I'll bring in the others, because this has a lot of meat on it. Your quick reactions to these bills that are being laid before Parliament to rake in 4 billion Ghana cedis yearly for the state.
It's, Ben, look, it's like having a rock which has no water, and your quest is to now draw more water from a rock. Look, we don't. Can you hear me?
I don't know what is happening to the sound. It comes and goes. I can hear you very faintly.
I think it's your network, because when you speak, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me now?
Okay, go ahead, Kojo. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
You go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so basically, what I'm trying to say is that, look, trying to take bills to Parliament and overburden the Ghanaian with taxes again. You know, the corporates are already paying what they can. What you need to do is to explore how we got here. Look, nobody's saying that we shouldn't expand our tax net and tighten the loopholes in our taxes. But in this time when in any other country, the government will have to be giving some relief to Ghanaians and companies so we can grow the economy back again, this is not the time to be introducing more taxes to basically draw water from a rock. Okay? What I think that the focus of Ministry of Finance is to call GMPC to a meeting. Look, my brother, we had an upstream. We got all these indebtedness because of an oil find in upstream. Ghana is an oil-producing country. Why are we abandoning that and going for 4 bills to give you 4 billion a year? If today we increase our oil production upstream by just 100,000 barrels a day, just 100,000 barrels a day, which is very simple and very easy to do, increasing our upstream production by 100,000, right? It will rake in about $240 million a month. $240 million a month. We now recently took 7% extra in the Jubilee field, which is what the Adadaku were selling that we took on. That's 7% alone. If we increase our upstream by 100,000 barrels a day, that 7% alone will give us $16 million. Now, what are you talking about? $16 million in your coffers as compared to 4 million Ghana cedis that you are going to pass a bill that will bring you $1 million a year. Meanwhile, you can just call a group of people who are not doing their work, GMPC, to say, look, what is going on at GMPC? Because GMPC is now even getting to the point where they can't even pay their bills. But you are not interested in that. You want to go after taxes. For me, at this stage in the economy, it's very sad. I don't know why everybody wants to look away from the GMPC disaster and how we got into this mess. So, look, yes, you can introduce those bills, but if the bills are just you are going to go after 4 million Ghana cedis a year, please, what is that going to do in the mess that we are in? We are trying to get $3 billion from the IMF. What is 4 million Ghana cedis a year? So the solution to the problem is very simple. Go after GMPC, look at why we cannot increase our production by just 100,000 barrels a day.
Okay, so there are alternatives, and we're not harnessing those alternatives. Do you feel these will increase the tax burden on the ordinary person? Because mention was made, for example, that the income tax amendment bill, which is expected to rake in 1.2 billion Ghana cedis, would still exempt those who earn the minimum wage from paying tax. But it's not only those who earn minimum wage who are in dire straits. Do you feel these taxes, when they become law, or these bills, when they become law, will actually compound the economic situation of the ordinary Ghanaian? Quickly on that.
Yes, because we need to grow wealth, Ben.
No, let's start. Did you say yes? Did you say yes?
Yes, but we need to grow wealth. We need to grow the wealth of the country. And you need to allow people to have a bit of a disposable income. And by so doing, we will grow the wealth of the nation. We are not growing wealth. We keep basically drawing the little that people have. And that is what these bills would extend to do, draw the little that we have. But if we don't grow the internal economy, letting people have a little bit more to spend, manufacturing will collapse, okay? All these breweries that you seek to tax will collapse. Because if the person doesn't have disposable income, that person doesn't go out in the evening and buy anything. Don't buy beer, don't buy Alvaro, don't buy Cocoa Fanta. So we need to allow people to have some money. The taxes at this time is not the right thing to do. For now, we need to look at the alternative to bring more income into the economy, then allow people to have a bit more money to be able to grow the economy again.
Let's look at those other stories, page 16 now, and then I'll move to page 20. President Akufo-Addo urges caution in amendment to Constitution, and the president has called for the exercise of caution on the wholesale or limited amendment of the most successful and lasting constitution in the history of the country, the 1992 Constitution. Is that to say that just because it's lasted this long, it has not outlived its purpose in certain ways? Just asking. He said, without prejudging the outcome of the ongoing national debate, those calling for amendment should bear in mind that the 1992 Constitution had provided the bedrock for the longest uninterrupted, stable period of free governance in the otherwise turbulent history of the country. Quoting him, he says, I can only say there is the need for caution from all of us, by all of us, in calling into question the Constitution, which has provided the bedrock for the longest uninterrupted, stable period of free governance in our otherwise turbulent history. And that is what he had to say. But President put spin on SONA. That's according to the NDC. I'm sure you followed yesterday. Now, the NDC has said President Akufo-Addo put a spin on his presentation of the message on the state of the nation to Parliament. According to the biggest opposition party, the president shelved the precarious state of the nation and only resorted to self-glorification. That's how they put it. Presenting what it called the true state of the nation, the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, touched on various issues ranging from the bad state of the economy, the large size of government, to the growing spate of corruption, and described the current state of the nation as one of hopelessness, recklessness, and corruption with a leadership paralysis. I mean, there's a lot more to what they say. For example, Mr. Nketia says, the true state of our dear nation no longer lies in flowery speeches laced in political chicanery that never accept a responsibility for anything, but in taking the bull by the horns. A few of what he said in addition, and these are stories that myjoyonline.com captured, dismiss hangers-on appointees at presidency. Hangers-on appointees, those who may not necessarily have anything to do, but have had jobs created for them. That's Asiedu Nketia from yesterday. And then again, corruption has defeated you and your family. Asiedu Nketia again, telling Akufo-Addo. What are your reactions to these?
Well, the one thing that the NDC always fail to do is to prefer solutions. The NDC has never preferred alternative solutions. They want to basically tell the Ghanaians what Ghanaians already know or don't know, or they want to basically paint a picture which is not what the picture is, and basically hope that Ghanaians will say that, okay, MPP is not MPP, so let's bring in the NDC. Please, I think Ghanaians are savvy now. We are changing as a nation. If you want to rule this country, prefer solutions. Telling us what we know or what you think it is not what's going to bring you into government. And that's the unfortunate thing in this country. Everybody thinks that if the party in power, if you beat them like a panera, okay, it paves the way for you to be the alternatives. Ghanaians should wake up to that. We should only bring people into government that has alternative solutions. There's no point.
Are you by saying this admitting that the MPP as well has done same?
Has done. All political parties do same. I'm not excluding the MPP in that. Every political party do same. We need to prefer solutions. Look, I am looking at Ghana going forward. What has transpired in the past for me is water under the bridge. Today, MPP, Nana Akufo-Addo-led government is in power. Okay. We have some difficult times. There are some things that the government have done that most Ghanaians are not happy with. There are some things, there's a lot of good things that the MPP government and Addo-led government has done, okay? We will take those good, we will take those victory laps, and we'll go out there and campaign on those, okay? But if you are NDC and you're gonna spend the little time you have in front of the camera to repeat things to Ghanaians, what are you offering the Ghanaian person? So what I am saying is that, yes, they had their 5 minutes on camera, but what they failed to do is tell Ghanaians what they will do differently. The alternative that they think that they are the party in waiting. In every country where there is a vibrant opposition, they always have alternatives to what the government is doing. We are here to hear anything that they will do differently. And I have said that the way the economy is structured, unless we reform the economy and the way it is structured, be it MPP or NDC, we are still going to go in the same trajectory. And we've seen that from 2015 till today, okay, where John Mahama took us to IMF, and now in the 7 years of MPP, we are back to IMF. We, as the Danado-led government and MPP, have had challenges of COVID, challenges of the Russian-Ukraine war, which has, in a way, contributed to the situation that we are in. But in most part also is to do with policy direction. And I have not been afraid to say on national television that we should have done some things differently in 2017. But the thing is, if you want to come into government, then tell Ghanaians what you would do differently. Let's not waste time in coming to paint pictures.
But haven't they, in all fairness, haven't they? They have said that some of the actions that have been taken by this administration, they would not have done. They've spoken about the banking sector cleanup. Hold on. They've spoken about the banking sector cleanup and how they would have dealt with it differently. They've spoken about the wanton spending for COVID-19 and how, given those funds, they would have addressed the matter differently. They've spoken about wanton or maybe reckless borrowing and how they would have acted differently. Those are differences that they have pointed out and said that, look, this is not the way to go. And to be fair, Kojo, you would also realize that in the past, just as you have been calling for certain things to be done, you mentioned 2017, there have been calls on our economy. Don't do this, don't do that, don't take this misstep. Go to the IMF at this point, all of that. Are you telling me all those solutions that were proffered, you missed them?
No, so let me take it step by step as you went through them. The banking sector cleanup, what would they have done differently? Like I keep saying, the Nana-led government borrowed 25 billion and paid back depositors' money. They would have probably said, no, we're not going to pay depositors' money. Let Ghanaians be the judge of that. MPP-led government took money and paid back depositors' money. What would they have done differently? They would not have paid that money. Let Ghanaians be the judge of that. Let's go on into COVID. Unless they get a pandemic, they can't prefer solutions about pandemic. So let them come into.
Well, they had Ebola. It's just that we were spared the brunt of it.
Say it again.
They had Ebola, but it's just that we were spared the brunt of it.
Well, we never had Ebola, and we never had a total shutdown of the world economy. So let's not go there. You see, people keep mimicking what happened in 2021. Ben, this is the first time that the world economy was shut down. This country, the southern sector of the country, Accra, the capital, was shut down. Nobody went anywhere for weeks. So what are you talking about? Ebola was just in the outside the country. We never had Ebola in Ghana. So what are we? Listen, they've never had pandemic. When they get pandemic, then we would have that conversation. Okay, so they can't compare. The banking sector, we already said that Nana-led government borrowed 25 billion and paid depositors' money. They should tell Ghanaians what they would have done differently. So those are the things that we should be talking about. Yes, like I said, there are things that should have been done better in 2017. It wasn't. Let's have those conversations. But the MPP is in government. They are in opposition. They should tell the Ghanaian what they would do differently. Stop beating the panera. Offer solutions. That is what we should say.
Let me ask you this, though, right before we get ready to wrap. So Professor Frimpong Boateng, former Minister for Environment, has had some very interesting things to say in recent times, saying that some of those involved in Galamsey are within the party, the MPP, your party, and in the Jubilee House. That's where he situates the conversation. He says he was used as a scapegoat. I am merely paraphrasing. And that, well, he is chilling, enjoying himself. The police have also invited him to substantiate some of the claims he's making in terms of pointing to direct individuals who are involved in this. We know about the Akunta mining issue. The Charles Bissu issue is still up in the air because the Special Prosecutor is dealing with that, but he has tried to quash any such move, saying that it should not be allowed to happen. With these accusations that keep coming up, as far as the MPP is concerned, as far as the Jubilee House, what do you make of it? Are we dealing with the issues correctly?
No, we are not. And I have always said on every platform that the Nana-led government has done very well, and I give it 85%. The 15% I don't give it is on corruption and how these matters are dealt with. How swift the Special Prosecutor deal with matters. How swift the role of the hand of justice grab the people who are corrupt and are not supposed to be where they are. So yes, there's a lot there to be investigated. And it's not just saying that we are going to investigate it. My problem is how quickly we investigate these things. If it's true that people in the Jubilee House are the ones responsible for Galamsey, we should quickly arrest them and prosecute them quickly. Underline the word quickly. It's not a matter of saying that we're going to do something and let it fester for a long time. Look, I was once talking to a presenter in Obuasi, and he said to me, Kojo, I can actually take you to places where there are mines going on and there are military guiding these Galamsey operations. If a presenter on a radio station knows where there are mining going on, Galamsey mining, and military are guarding them, are you telling me national security doesn't know? Are you telling me the Jubilee House doesn't know? Are you telling me that the people who are in charge of security in this country do not know that there are Galamsey, that they are military guarding? Of course we do. So what are we talking about? So look, they can do all the investigations, but my point is that I will not condone anybody because it's an MPP person. I will not condone anybody because the person is in the Jubilee House. I think that swift justice is what Ghanaians need. And we need, in the next 2 years, to basically close that 15% that Ghanaians are looking at us. I could give it 15%. I would really hope that Nanado would basically stand up and make that 5%, and I'll clap and say, look, we've done 95% for Ghana. But for now, we are just not performing well in that arena of corruption and dealing with those menaces.
Let's go to the Daily Guide newspaper now. Baumia saves Ketia traders, closed market opens. Today, initially we had got comments from, I think, a deputy minister that no, we would have to get to the bottom of what exactly happened before the market would be reopened, and that would take about a week or two. But the vice president was there in the Ashanti region, and he passed those comments. So it's open today. Whether it's an apt move or not, we'll all find out with time. There's also that gloomy, sad story about Dr. Anthony Osei Akoto, former MP for Tafo Pankrono and former Minister of State in charge of Finance, who has passed on. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Akufo-Addo's educational record unmatched, that's according to Educhum. There was a response from the MPP after the NDC put out the true state of the nation, and then Grace Gift Herbal picks top award. But let me just look at this. So Minister of Education, Dr. Yawase Educhum, has stated that the President, Akufo-Addo, has an unmatched record in education, which has witnessed systematic improvement since 2017. He asserted that the current administration's performance over the past 6 years had far outperformed that of earlier administrations over the last 14 years in terms of educational outcomes, and added that change is taking place from school to school. All right. That is, I don't want to get into further detail because the education minister has been one that I've taken on vigorously in recent times based on some of his utterances, which have not been very pleasant. But I'll give him a little breathing space today. The Finder newspaper, Republic Bank Ghana not related to embattled First Republic Bank of USA. And that has had to come forth because of all the wranglings, and people have been wondering, are there any ties? Is our money secure? And all of that. So that has come to the fore. There's also creditor committee lessons for Ghana. It was long and bumpy journey for other countries. And we do know that Sri Lanka now has that 3 billion IMF package. When is Ghana getting ours? The minority leader, Dr. Kasilato Forsen, himself an economist, has said we will not get it in March. I'll wrap with the Graphic Business newspaper. Ramping up trust post DDEP, investor protection plan now. And today at the Labadi Beach Hotel, we have that Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting focusing on exactly that, the DDEP. Keeping your finances in check during cost of living crisis and Nigeria's debt problem, mainly domestic. Which of these stories would you like to address? The DDEP?
The Ketia market.
Ketia market, right.
Yes. Look, it's very sad that we've built a beautiful market for the people of Kumasi to be managed in consultation and I think in conjunction with the KMA. The way the market is being managed is very sad. Look, we all heard last year about the disconnection of electricity at the market. And I, Kojupoku, being a very worried person, made some phone calls to find out what was going on. And one of the things that came up was that the mobilization or the collection of money, because all the market have 1 meter. Okay, so if all the market has 1 meter, it means that there has to be money collected from people. But the problem is that some people might use more than the other. Some people might just have stalls that use common lightning. So how do you now calculate how much money one person is going to pay from the other? That is one big problem that the market is facing, being able to now manage that part of it. Then when the fire happened, we heard they don't have insurance. The whole market does not have insurance. And the reason given for no insurance is that collecting money from the traders to be able to put in the pot to pay for the premium is a problem. So clearly, it tells you that we have built something nice in Kumasi, but the management of it is becoming a challenge. Because if we can't collect money to pay electricity bills, we can't collect money from the traders to basically pay insurance, then what's the point?
Right.
You understand? So
right.
What authorities should pay attention to? It's not all these things that people want to go and walk around that place and take cheers and jeers from the market women when we are not dealing with the problem of the market. It's okay for everybody to do a walkabout in the area. I, Kojubo, can go and walk about in the area and I'll get jeers and cheers from there. But who is actually sitting the management down and telling them that you need to resolve these problems? Collect the money from the market women to pay insurance. Collect the money from the market women to pay electricity bills. Because as I speak to you now, there is still indebtedness in the KGTR market in terms of the electricity bills. Right. And if ECG goes and connect and disconnect, we will now hear the uproar. So please, I mean, I'm saying this to let the authorities know that all is not well with the management of that beautiful market that we built in Kumasi. The other one is the March IMF. Well, we are already in the middle of March, and I don't think that with what's going on, China not giving us the audience to renegotiate and a lot of things going on, I don't think, yes, we will make it in March. We should just do it as and when, and like you said the last time, we should just stop doing the commentary on the timetable. It's not going to help anybody.
Right.
We should come to the realization that we need to do certain things for ourselves as a nation, and we have still not heard from the government in cutting down of the expenditure. We are trying to boost revenue by introducing some of these bills to Parliament. I have suggested that we go aggressively after GMPC to increase the oil upstream production, and that will bring us some more money. But what we have not done as a nation from last year to today is aggressively cut our expenditure.
Right.
We are still making commitments on expenditure. For me, it's not necessary.
Kojo, thank you so much for your company this morning. We're grateful and we wish you the very best of the day. Kojo Poku is an energy analyst. Just to leave you ahead of sports, I want to build winning team. Chris Houghton says so. We'll be giving you some of those details in sports, which will be coming your way shortly. But the news review has been brought to you by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, and they are offering free prostate screening, free female fertility screening as well. Locate them in Accra Spintex opposite the Shell signboard, Kumasi Kronum Abwehia behind the Angel Educational Complex, Takrade Anaji Estate Community 22 in Tema, Techiman Hanswa and Esiama Nzema. You can reach them on 0244 867 068 or 0274 234 321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic disease. Stay with us for sports up next for the latest in that realm.
Mustafa Nabila Abdullah here with sports on the AM show. Chris Houghton has been unveiled as head coach of the Black Stars. The unveiling ceremony took place in Kumasi, and he's taken over a national team that has struggled to become a dominant force within the continent and globally. Well, a question was posed to him what he would describe as success during his tenure as head coach of the senior national team from now until December 31, 2024. He says one of the things he wants to do is to build a winning team.
I think what you do is that you always have to judge what you think and what you perceive as success and failure nearer to the time. And you also have to remember that what is deemed success and failure is different to different people. My responsibilities are, and what we have to remember is that I have the responsibilities to, if I look at the present squad that we have, remember we went into a World Cup campaign with the youngest squad in the World Cup. So my balances are on bringing these young players through, and also making sure that the experienced players that we have in the squad can be a good combination. So it's always going to be a mix of what is the most important thing, and the most important thing is always here and now. We have two games this week, and this is what the most important thing is. But I also have to have an eye on development, and I think I would be judged on a way a team play, what I've made from the players that we have, whether I've managed to get the best out of the players that we have, and have a support, and this is the most important thing, that have a support that enjoy seeing their team play. Now, what is judged as success and failure will be perceived in different ways. Ultimately, at this moment, it's about winning 2 games this week. It's about qualification to get to AFCON, and it's doing and preparing the team as well as we can from AFCON and performing the best that we can.
Performing the best that we can. After that unveiling ceremony in Kumasi, Chris Hilton returned to Accra and held his first training session with the team at the Accra Sports Stadium. 8 players were present for the training session. They were led by skipper Andre Ayew, Thomas Partey, Joseph Pencil, who did not make the final squad for the FIFA World Cup in 2022, but was called up by Chris Hilton for his first game against Angola. There was also the presence of a new boy from Germany, Ransford Yeboah, Antoine Semenyo, the likes of Daniela Mate, and the likes of Jojo Wallacott. They were all present for a training session which took place at the Accra Sports Stadium. Every member within the technical team participated in the training session. And as you can see on your screen, this was Chris Hilton addressing the players just before they held their first training session at the Accra Sports Stadium. Jojo Wallacott, he trained with the goalkeepers trainer Olele Kingston, while the other players were asked to stretch and also did a bit of ball juggling after the meeting that Chris Hilton had with the team. First contest for Chris Hilton is on Thursday against Angola. And there's a certain history within this national team. In the last 6 years, no coach of the Black Stars has gone beyond 2 years as the leader of the technical team. Chris Hilton is walking into a role that over the years has not been able to produce what many Ghanaians would describe as impressive results. His contest against Angola probably will give Ghanaians an idea about what he's bringing to the table as the next man who is seeking to reclaim the lost glory of Ghana's senior national team. My colleague Daniel Cronton has been taking a look at the Black Stars games since 2017 when Kwesi Appiah led the senior national team against Ethiopia at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium. Chris Hilton and the team will be flying to Kumasi this morning. We understand 17 players are currently in camp. Tariq Lamte, he is injured and is not available. And FC Cologne, Kingsley Schindler, has been called up to replace the Brighton right back in the squad as the team flies to Kumasi to continue preparations for that game against Angola on Thursday. They will hold one training session this evening. The last training session will happen tomorrow at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium, where the Angolans would also be training at the kickoff time, which is 4 p.m. on Thursday. Let's talk about the under-23 now, and their contest will be against Algeria on Friday. The Black Meteors, they secured qualification to the next round of the African Under-23 Cup of Nations qualifiers after edging Mozambique and Benin to reach this stage of the competition. Players who have not been called up by Chris Hilton to the senior national team, Fatau Isaku, Daniel Afriye Banier, and Ernest Niama, they have been called up by Ibrahim Tanko to be part of his team as they also continue their preparations for that game against Algeria on Friday. They played a friendly match against Atram Device on Monday at the Accra Sports Stadium. The likes of former Brecum Chelsea player Esiam, who currently plays for FC Basel, has also been called up. Emmanuel Yeboah has been called up to the under-23 team to get ready for that contest on Friday. Their game is a double header. First leg will be in Algeria on Friday, and the second leg will also be happening at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium on March 28th. Meanwhile, members of the technical team of the Black Meteors, they are threatening to withdraw their services as leaders of the technical team because they are owed bonuses that have been in place since they played Mozambique about 6-7 months ago. They claim that if the Ghana Football Association and the Ministry of Youth and Sports fails or do not give them what is due them by the end of day Tuesday, they would all leave the camping base of the Black Meteors, which is in Pram Pram. They say that they feel they've been unfairly treated by the government of the country and that of the Ghana Football Association, the football governing body for the sport in the country. Let's move on now and wrap up with some stories that has to do with some fixtures and results in the Ghana Premier League. And we'll take a look at the Ghana Premier League first. And this was the outcome of those matches. Samatex lost 1-2 to Asante Kotoko. Tamale City 1-3-1 against Dreams FC. Mediama FC 1-2-0 against Great Olympics. House of Oak 1-1-0 against Kotoko Royals. Bechimi United 1-3-1 against Kerala United. Real Tamale United 3-0 against Brekum Chelsea. In Swatruman 1-3-0 against second place Accra Lions. And Legon City's 1-2-0 against Aduana Stars. This game happened yesterday. And Kim Faisal also drew 0-0 against Bibiani Gold Stars. This is how the Ghana Premier League table looks like. Aduana Stars, they sit at the top with 39 points after 22 matches. Accra Lions are still second despite their defeat to Insuatruman. They've got 37 points. Bechimi United have got 36. Accra House have got 35. Kotoko 34. Mediama SC 34. Bibiani Gold Stars 32. Brekum Chelsea 32. Insuatruman 30. Samatex 30. We'll take a look at the second half of that table. The teams that are rooted at the bottom part of the Premier League table as the Ghana Premier League or domestic competition is heading to its latter part. We've got some about 12 matches more to play to end the season. Real Tamale United have got 28 points, Dreams FC 27, Great Olympics 27, Legon Cities 26, Kerala 26, Kim Faisal 25, Tamale City 24, Kotoko Royals. They are rooted at the bottom of the table with 17 points. That's your sports on the AM show with me, Muftaru Nabila Abla. You can head on to my joyonline.com and read some more sports stories. The show continues right after this.
Today, we have made the 80-kilometer journey from Kumasi to explore this rather large sanctuary spanning about 53 square kilometers. It's been here since 1975 and it's under the daily management of the Forestry Commission and their ever-present armed forest rangers, who told us that before coming to the sanctuary, visitors are required to first go to the district office in Kumewu to buy tickets. If I'm honest, the stillness of this hot afternoon and the total absence of any trace of animal life whatsoever makes the mental image of this vast field, filled to bursting with buffalo, even more enthralling.
So, what is the name of this river?
It's Pami. Yeah, Pami.
Ah. Wow, it's beautiful. And is it connected to the waterfall?
Yes, please. From here to the waterfalls, it's just a small distance.
Oh, so it's now going to the waterfalls. Wonderful.
So when you came to this place, I call Bonfubri. Bonfubri. That small part, it's Bonfubri.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. So we are going to cross?
Yeah, we can cross it.
Okay. You go first. Let me see how you do it.
Yes, a small. So come slowly.
The rock formations are really nice, eh? I mean, if not for anything at all, even before you see the waterfall, you would have taken 100 beautiful nature wildlife selfies. you know, to make your social media pop and show that also you're a tourist. In fact, let me take some myself.
Obahasia, we a nice place.
Come, let's take some selfies.
Finally, here it is in all its glory.
Whoa. That is beautiful.
Yeah. You can get close.
I can go closer.
You can go closer.
Is it slippery?
Yeah, it will slip.
If I stand on, I'll fall.
Yeah.
I'll fall.
Yeah. But you can watch and watch well.
I thought it might be a good idea to get as close to the falling water as possible. I was wrong. Slippery rocks made it a very dangerous proposition.
So how deep is the water?
The water is a meter from the top coming down.
If I stand inside, where will it get to?
It's like it will enter here.
My chest?
Some here.
That's quite deep. And do people swim here?
Yeah, they swim.
You know, from above, this place really does look like it was plucked out of a nature magazine. A beautiful cul-de-sac of rock and water.
This is your job there. I can't do something. It's our job there.
Think nature. Think camping. Think unspoiled beauty. Think the road less traveled. Think untinctured idyllic scenes of nature. Think road trip with an epic picnic at the end of your journey. Think Bomfobri Wildlife Sanctuary. In fact, don't just think it, explore it, and thank me later.